extremely rare phenomenon in the fog. 4 wild Steves in a pack. Now, hopefully, they won't be easily spooked, so we can sneak up and get a closer look. Now, I must warn you, wild Steves, particularly those in packs, can be incredibly dangerous. Please do not approach them unless you have a seasoned Steve expert, particularly a Steve Gull expert, with you in your traveling party. Now, we'll approach them as carefully as we can, but please, if you have young children watching, make sure they're prepared for what they may see in case things go awry. Thanks to recent advancements in aura reading technology, we're able to observe the Steves from a distance, but still gain understanding of their traveling patterns. It's fascinating to see up close. Now, because many wildlife researchers, particularly in the fog, only get a chance to see a pack of Steves once in their career, we made the decision to try to appease them with orbital hatchet throws near 2 of them on a generator. Now, this can be incredibly dangerous. Please don't do this without supervision. However, it can yield spectacular results if the Steves accept you into their group. It was a risk we decided to take. We understand if you would have done differently. After keeping our distance initially, we decided the pack of Steves may be prepared for a closer approach. We decided to take a risk, knowing that it could spook them and lose us a chance to interact at all. However, the Steves were ready to accept us. Possibly letting us see an internal, true observation of how they interact amongst themselves, even when an outsider was present. Most wildlife researchers will never get this close to a single Steve their entire career, and we are blessed to be surrounded by a pack of them. Absolutely incredible. Look at how they interact. This research alone could take us light years ahead in understanding how the Steves really operate amongst themselves. Now, one of the Steves has gestured for us to follow him. This is truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Almost never captured on camera. If only we could interact with them by speaking their language. Maybe one day we'll be able to understand. It appears they're having an argument, but about what? Is it about whether to accept us into their group? Is it an internal squabble? We may never truly know. Incredible. The pack of Steves appear to be approaching us out of their own volition, offering us trinkets and things of no value to us, but to them, they can mean everything. My God. This Steve appears to be performing some kind of a crude mating ritual. Shield the children's eyes if they're watching. This may not be appropriate for our youngsters. After attempting to partake in one of their local games, I decided to see how they might be interacting without me being nearby. Now we have to be incredibly cautious as we approach. We want to make sure the interaction is as authentic as possible. Incredible. It's as if we aren't even there. This adolescent Steve appears to want to play with us. Now this could be hugely significant. This may mean that the elders of the pack have somehow indicated or conveyed our safety to this younger Steve. We'll only know for sure if he hops into a locker and allows us to pull him out. Incredible. We've been accepted into the pack. No wildlife researcher has ever been welcomed into a pack in such a way. Certainly not with wild Steves. Only when they've been in captivity. This is groundbreaking progress. Even as we carry one of their young, the Steves have no concerns whatsoever. Incredible. Now they appear to be requesting we participate in one of their barbaric hooking rituals. To lose acceptance of the pack this quickly would be devastating. Even if we must injure some of the Steves, only when they request. We may need to in order to try to gain understanding into how their primitive culture works. This adolescent Steve again begins to present some kind of a mating ritual. Now, in a truly bizarre twist, one of the elder Steves approaches our researcher and appears to judge the Steve for his conduct. However, not wanting to embarrass the adolescent in front of the outsider, the elder Steve helps make them feel better, almost like a caring parent trying to help a young child. after they've skinned their knee. Now, it is possible that there may be some father-son pairings in the pack. However, it is rare for both a father and a son from the same family line to go out in the same pack. Losing an entire family line of Steves can be devastating for the populations in the wild. Now, this has never been observed by any human. The Steves appear to want to bring us down into their basement. This has never happened in recorded human history. All 4 of them seem so comfortable down here. They indicate they want us to go in the corner and they swarm us. A sign of acceptance. Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing truly unprecedented progress. One thing we have long known about wild Steves is they're incredibly playful, but being able to see it up close, within their own pack, is truly a marvel. Incredible. Almost spontaneously, the Steves, without saying a word, have broken into a full sprint. They appear to be suggesting that whatever Steve is injured to the point that they fall down to the ground should be the one placed on the sacrificial oak next. We've never even theorized that they may behave this way. This is just unbelievable to watch in person. This will permanently alter our understanding of how Steves behave in a pack environment. Look how they taunt the Steve that's lost the ritual, indicating to the researcher that it is safe and understandable for the Steve to be placed on the hook. Their playful is certainly coming through there. Incredible. They're leaving the youngster on the hook. Hopefully we can get them to take him off. Incredible. They're listening to our suggestions. He's accepted right back into the games. Another Steve is downed. They taunt him just as they taunted the youngster. Look, they appear to want us to participate in the humbling of this other Steve. They expect us to sacrifice him. Perhaps I'm misunderstanding. They seem quite sure. Oh, thank God. Ladies and gentlemen, we almost killed a Steve. If I'm understanding these Steves correctly, it appears that 3 of the Steves from the pack have decided that one of them must be sacrificed out of deference to our researcher. It's just as I theorized. They've made their choice. If children are watching, best to shield their eyes now. See how they abandon their comrade. Stays by in which to taunt the other Steve. Thankfully, our researchers are incredibly experienced. They will injure the Steve. However, the Steves in the pack will be able to bring him back to full health. This is merely some kind of a bizarre revenge ritual in which they include an outsider. This has never been filmed before. Researcher brushes carefully. Not wanting to spook the Steve, we pray to the gods and we perform the ritual. Just as quickly as they arrived, the Steves are gone. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just completely altered any of our understanding of how wild Steves behave. This groundbreaking research could help save the lives of thousands of Steves, and maybe dozens, possibly hundreds of Steagles. If you'd like to continue to support our conservation efforts, please follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. I'll see you next time.